Now let's award some Fannies, shall we? Fannies. I feel like I have to explain this. It's not like Fannie Pack. It's like the ESPN awards the ESPYs, so 99.9 the Fan.
We have the Fannies.
Awards the Fannies.
Mm-hmm.
We had 10 categories. We announced the nominees last week. We will refresh you as they go along. Dennis, do you want to do the nominees or the winners?
I'll do the nominees.
All right.
I'll let you announce the winners.
I'll do the winners.
So again, by the way, for those wondering what's the timeline for these awards, we're looking at July 1st of 2023 through June 30th of 2024. That's the timeline that we're working with, because that basically encompasses the sports calendar, if that makes sense. So the categories were Best Team, Best Male Athlete, Best Female Athlete, Coach of the Year, Rivalry of the Year, Game of the Year, Best Single Game Performance, Play of the Year, Breakout Athlete, and Biggest Story of the Year.
There you go.
Let's actually start with Biggest Story of the Year. The biggest stories that we had nominations were the firings and hirings of the Carolina Panthers, including head coach and general manager, the NC State men's and women's basketball team making runs to the Final Four, the Carolina Hurricanes go all in at the trade deadline, and Tez Walker versus the NCAA.
Now, I said this yesterday. Thought this was one of the more difficult ones to decide because they're so different. But we did come to an agreement, and we have a winner, and the winner is the NC State Final Four runs. Just the intensity and the fervor with which they took place over that month plus, it was unreal. And the weavings, the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs, the moments when it felt like it might not be advancing, only to have victory snatched from the jaws of defeat so many times, to have both the men and women making the runs, to have the rivalry elements, right, beating Duke and Carolina in the ACC championship, or tournament, I should say, the ACC tournament, and then beating Duke again in the Elite Eight. It just was, I think the best way to measure it is to think of like where the Kevin Keats confidence meter was going into the ACC tournament.
Yeah.
And then know that it ended with like a boatload of money being added to his contract and automatic extensions and the ice cream thing. They captured the entire country.
They're the darlings of the tournament.
To the point where like now DJ Burns is playing in the Cavs Summer League, and his highlights are still going viral because the rest of the country's like, it just reminds you of a cool time where he was, in the middle of this firestorm of an NCAA tournament run.
Remember when. All right, let's go to our breakout athlete. Our breakout athlete. Again, this is college and pro sports here in the state of North Carolina. Our nominations were Casey Concepcion, NC State football; Seth Jarvis, Carolina Hurricanes; DJ Horn, NC State basketball; and Brandon Miller, Charlotte Hornets.
All good nominees. I'm happy to see the Hornets in the mix.
Hey, Brandon Miller, third in Rookie of the Year voting in the entire NBA. Nothing to sneeze at.
Not the winner, though.
Not the winner.
Should we eliminate them one at a time?
Wow, you can do that?
No. Breakout athlete goes to Casey Concepcion, NC State football. Maybe the best freshman wide receiver in the country.
Up there.
At times, like, you'd go into a big NC State football game, and it was either Casey Concepcion's going to have 140 yards and 2 touchdowns, or they're going to lose this game. And still, somehow he found a way to make big play after big play. I'm excited to see how he develops this year. With all of the turmoil at quarterback, whether it was Brennan Armstrong earlier, him bowing out for MJ Morris choosing to bow out himself, Brennan Armstrong coming back in. One of the few, Jordan Houston, their running back, deciding he wanted to sit out after 4 games and transfer. Like, the one constant was big plays from Casey Concepcion. And even guys like Dylan McMahon were in and out of lineup with injuries, who's up front. Like, it was Casey Concepcion is the steady Eddie, which is ironic to call him steady Eddie when he's unbelievably explosive. But he's the breakout, and now that you'd think the entire NC State offense is going to be kind of built around him next year.
All right, let's go to the best single game performance. Let's go to that one. Best single game performance. Nominees were RJ Davis, 42 points versus Miami during the men's basketball season. Cormac Ryan, 31 points at Duke in Cameron Indoor, 6 of 8 from three-point land in that win in Cameron Indoor Stadium to close out the regular season. Pyotr Kochetkov, 45-save shutout versus the Florida Panthers. And Casey Concepcion versus North Carolina, 7 catches, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns, plus 11 carries for 55 yards.
There's no wrong answer here, but there is a right answer.
Yeah.
Cormac Ryan in Cameron Indoor, 31 points at Duke. You brought it up, 6 of 8 from 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised he missed 2, if we're being honest. My memory was he made every shot that he took.
Dude didn't miss.
And did it with swagger, and it was big shots, and the rivalry, and the vibe that stereotypically he should be Duke, but he's actually playing against Duke, and was earning his Tar Heel stripes in real time. It was a moment. It's one of the moments that I'm not gonna be able to forget from the college basketball season. And the cool part was going over 30 against Duke and Cameron. Like, that's now going to be a reference point, right? Hubert Davis, who's the coach of UNC, did that, whatever it was, 30 years ago. And it was still brought up during Cormac Ryan's. Like, it's going to be 30 years from now, and someone's going to have a big game against Duke. And we're going to be sitting there going, remember when Cormac Ryan did that way back in 2024, I think it was? No, wait, hold on. What music was playing? Like, that's what we're going to be doing. Was it 2020? No, that was COVID. There were fans. I remember the fans because he was talking to them. From a single game performance perspective, especially with the other players on that roster, like the fact that it wasn't fellow nominee R.J. Davis or Armando Bacot having that monster game, it was Cormac Ryan, adds to the lore. So Cormac Ryan gets the nod.
All right, speaking of memorable moments, let's go to Play of the Year. So Play of the Year, we have Payton Wilson, NC State linebacker, running down a wide receiver against Notre Dame. Drake May, quarterback for UNC, left-handed touchdown pass against Pitt. He's right-handed. Michael O'Connell, buzzer beater.
How funny would that be? We're like Tua Tagovailoa, left-handed touchdown pass.
What?
He's a lefty.
Yeah, Michael O'Connell, buzzer beater against Virginia in the ACC tournament to force overtime. And the Jordan Martinook save on the goal line for the Carolina Hurricanes in Game 6 versus the New York Rangers of the Stanley Cup playoffs in the Eastern Conference semifinals.
No surprise with this one. Michael O'Connell, buzzer beater against Virginia. It's ACC tournament. It is literally not quite. It's a logo 3 off balance, banked and rattled in, that if it doesn't go, like the amount of sliding doors that change, like the future changes if that shot doesn't go in, is unreal. Who knows what's going on with everybody's future at NC State. They definitely don't become the darlings that they are. They bow out in the whatever that was, semifinal or earlier, right? Quarterfinal?
Semifinals?
Of the ACC tournament. But instead it goes in, and it forces overtime. And he gives a little flex for everybody. And they end up continuing on. There's a few different moments on that run where it's like, I don't think people realize how down to their last life they were. And because part of the magic of that run is, and this happens occasionally, where it felt like the shot was going to go in. It was just like, no, they're charmed right now. It's going to go in. I don't think you realize how unlikely that shot actually was. I know it felt like it was going in, but
27 feet away, whatever it was,
leaning off balance, no time, buzzer beater against a very good defensive team with very good defensive players. Reese Beekman, like it's just a really, really tough spot to be, and O'Connell nailed it. And again, like I said with Cormac Ryan, if it were DJ Horn, right? If it were DJ Burns making a game winner, Michael O'Connell was more of a distributor. He wasn't really the lights out scorer, yet he's the one that has the ball in his hands in that moment, and he converts. Play of the year. But I mean, again, that's another category where, like, if you put together a highlight film of just those 4 plays on repeat, that's one of those YouTube clips I'd give 7 minutes of my life with.
Oh yeah.
Some early 2000s pop song is the the background music as you just show those plays over and over again.
All right, let's get to the rivalry of the year.
Let's do it.
Rivalry of the year. We have the Carolina Hurricanes versus the New York Rangers, competing for not only the top of the Metro, but the President's Trophy in the NHL, and competed in the playoffs. David Tepper versus, all fans. UNC versus NC State football, and Duke versus NC State men's basketball. Rivalry of the year.
I do love the David Tepper versus all fans, because it's Panthers fans, and it's Jacksonville fans, and it's...
If your mascot's a cat, he's coming after
and
you.
It's Courage, or Charlotte FC fan.
Mm-hmm.
But the winner of the Fannie is Rangers versus Canes. It was a regular season rivalry for the top of the division. It was a regular season rivalry at times for the President's Trophy. It was a postseason rivalry, 3-0. It was, for lack of a better term and maybe a little exaggeration, Trouba trying to take the head off of Martin Necas.
Yeah.
It was so much. It was the two games fighting back by the Canes. It was the pit in your stomach at the end of Game 6. It was not letting them finish it at home. It was so much going on in that series. Rangers versus Canes, it was, brutal looking back on it, but fierce as it was happening.
All those games were awesome.
Yeah.
They were just great games.
And it was a great regular season battle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get 2 points, we want 2 points, all that kind of stuff.
Speaking of games, let's go to Game of the Year.
Another tough one.
This is another tough one. UNC versus App State football, double OT. UNC wins that one for 40-34. We have NC State versus Oakland in overtime of the NCAA tournament's second round. UNC Wilmington upsetting Kentucky. UNC Wilmington basketball upsetting Kentucky in Rupp Arena out there in Lexington. And then we also had the U.S. Open, the final round. Bryson DeChambeau versus Rory McIlroy, final round U.S. Open down in Pinehurst.
I'll go through our. It came down to UNC versus App and NC State versus Oakland. UNC App football and NC State versus Oakland. I think we got to go NC State versus Oakland. Overtime, NCAA tournament versus a regular season game, especially early in the season. The stakes felt higher, and then there was Jack Golke. It was kind of Destiny team against Destiny team, with Oakland being one of the stories of the first round also. I think we got to go NC State versus Oakland overtime. But this one is like, I'm wondering, and by the way, like, I'm not half-stepping. They are the winner. Congratulations, you won the Fannie. But you know how, like, there's like Oscars years where 20 years in the future you look back and you're like, how in the world did that movie beat Shawshank or something like that? It's like, because one just has better legs. I want to revisit this category like 5 years from now and see if we remember them the same way. But for right now, it's NC State versus Oakland, overtime, men's basketball, second round NCAA tournament.
Okay, let's go to our coach of the year. We have Wes Moore, NC State women's basketball coach. Erin Madsen, UNC Field Hockey coach. UNC Field Hockey winning a national championship this year. Laurie Henes, NC State women's cross country coach, won their third national championship in the last 3 years. And also the head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes, Brind'Amour.
Erin Madsen has a legitimate gripe with this one because she's been a coach for like 20 minutes and already has a national championship.
She does.
But I think that UNC Field Hockey program is cranking, right?
Buzzsaw?
It kind of is. So for like the more impressive coaching job, thus coach of the year, I'm going Wes Moore, NC State women's basketball. I mean, and by the way, sustainable. Rivers coming back. Who's it? James coming back. Brooks coming back. They have a nice little group there. But this year I think they went above and beyond, and thus coach of the year goes to Wes Moore, NC State.
A lot of great nominees in that one, for sure. Let's go to our female athlete of the year. You have Deja Kelly, UNC women's basketball. Abby Lampe, our cheese rolling champion. Katelyn Tuohy, NC State women's cross country. And Ryleigh Heck, UNC field hockey.
First of all, I just love the diversity of the lineup here.
Yeah.
We have everything from a cheese rolling, which we need to work on the name of that. It's cheese catching, cheese chasing. the cheese, she's not the one rolling the cheese.
Yeah.
She's chasing the rolling cheese. So we'll have to have a word
Like
with
the
the
Cooper
power.
Hills cheese rolling championship.
Yes, she is the winner. But she is not the winner of this category.
Oh, okay.
That goes to Ryleigh Heck, North Carolina Field Hockey. What put it over the top for me is the game winner in the Natty. Like, if you're going to be a first-team All-American, you're going to be in the running, right? Especially first-team All-American for a national champion, you're going to be in the running. But if you throw in the clutch, you throw in the game winner in the national championship game, that's going to put you over the top in a lot of different ways. Another fierce category, but Ryleigh Heck, UNC Field Hockey ends up with the Fannie.
All right, next one. We have
Sounds so weird to say that. She ends up with the Fannie. It's an award. It's an award. We're not being weird.
It's an award. All right, Male Athlete of the Year. We have Payton Wilson, NC State football, won the award for nation's best defensive player in all of college football. RJ Davis, UNC men's basketball, ACC Player of the Year, also the award winner for the best shooting guard in the entire country. Sebastian Aho, Carolina Hurricanes, All-Star season. And Derrick Brown's taking an NFL record for most tackles by a defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman in NFL history. So again, nominations for Male Athlete of the Year: Payton Wilson, NC State football; RJ Davis, UNC basketball; Sebastian Aho, Carolina Hurricanes; and Derrick Brown, Carolina Panthers.
Another loaded category.
Stacked.
I'm as big of a Sebastian Aho fan as you'll find, but I can't do it. Derrick Brown got paid off of his performance.
Yeah, he did.
But I can't do it. RJ Davis was the best shooting guard in the country. But I can't do it.
Best player in the best conference.
True. I like how you snuck that in there. A little ACC's the best conference. I like that. I'm with you. Payton Wilson, NC State football is the winner. He's the best defensive player in the country in college football. I mean, we're splitting hairs here, but RJ Davis being the best at his position, like, Payton Wilson is also that. He's just also the best at every other defensive position. So it is an aggressive, difficult decision to make. We agonized over this one. But Payton Wilson, NC State football, to me, the season he put together as a whole, it's pretty difficult to pick and nitpick and try to find the flaws.
If you would have told me RJ Davis, I'd been like, okay. I would not have disagreed either way. Literally could have just flipped the coin on that one. All right, final category, best team.
By the way, we don't believe in co-winners.
We do not. Either you win or you lost.
Make the hard decision.
Exactly.
Pick the one, put up with the hate you might get.
Best team. Our nominees: NC State men's basketball, NC State women's cross country, having won just another national championship, UNC Field Hockey, and UNC Baseball, winning the ACC championship regular season and the best conference in college baseball, and making it all the way to the College World Series.
Well, there's something that happened there. You had to explain why UNC Baseball should be in there. So, no.
Okay.
NC State men's basketball, as awesome as their run was, they're up against two national champions, and they were just the semifinalists. So, we're looking at the national champions. This is how stacked these two finals are. NC State women's cross country is what, 3 straight national championships?
3 straight natties.
UNC Field Hockey, 5 out of 6?
5 out of 6, remember correctly, yes. With the coaching change in there, too.
With a coaching change. I mean, that is, we're splitting hairs again. I'm going UNC Field Hockey. UNC Field Hockey, you win the Fannie. To me, in a team sport like that is, you know, there is an element of women's cross country and cross country in general being like a handful of individual sports combined. So it's maybe a little bit more under your control, right? Just each girl, each woman run your best race. But when it comes to field hockey, it's the communication. It's there's a team trying to stop you. It's maybe just a little bit better of a incubator to breed a best team champion. And then you're right, the coaching change. To not lose a beat after making a coaching change, particularly to such a young, fresh out of her playing career player/coach, kind of. As Erin Madsen, I think UNC Field Hockey has to be it. They're an absolute dynasty, and they are the winner of the Fannie for best team. All
right, so to recap our winners here for biggest story of the year, NC State Final Four runs in men's and women's basketball. Breakout Athlete, KC Concepcion, NC State football. The play of the year, the Mike O'Connell buzzer beater against Virginia in the ACC semifinals. Best single game performance, Cormac Ryan, 6 of 8 from 3, 31 points at Duke to close out the regular season for UNC men's basketball. Game of the year, NC State versus Oakland in overtime and second round of the NCAA tournament. Rivalry of the year, Carolina Hurricanes versus the New York Rangers. Coach of the year, Wes Moore, NC State women's basketball. Female Athlete of the Year, Ryleigh Heck, UNC Field Hockey. Male Athlete of the Year, Payton Wilson, NC State Football. And Best Team, UNC Field Hockey.
The Fannies, ladies and gentlemen. The 2024 Fannies, same time, same place next year.
That's right.
We'll do it all over again.
By the way, this is our second annual Fannies.
Second annual Fannies. And if you have any gripes, Dennis's Twitter account is The Fan Rookie.
That's right, it is.
Or you can send them my way if you really want to, at Donnelly Sports. But I think we did a good job. By the way, difficult decisions are going to have smart people on both sides. I want that to be clear. Can't make everybody happy. We did our best to pick the right answers rather than the favorite answers, if that makes any sense.